Right. Okay, now let me find my way back to my slide. Okay.
Well, as you do that, I just wanted to say welcome. Again, thank you so much for being here. So, today we're going to be talking about the Black Lives Matter Global Comparative Study in Brazil course that's taking place this summer. We're so excited that you're here. We have Professor Cobb, who is going to be talking about the course, and then I will go ahead and talk about how to make it happen. I just realized I didn't introduce myself. My name is Yamari Castellano. My pronouns are she, her, ella, and I am the Study Abroad Program Manager who um, has the privilege of working with Professor Cobb on this amazing program. So, any questions that you have about the application process, you're like, I've never applied for a passport, I need support, or I'm having, I'm not sure because I've never traveled before. Any, questions like that. And I also provide you with basic funding information. We do advise students to work with the Student Financial Services Office, but we'll get more on that later. And so we have the presentation. You want to click on the Brazil Summer 25 there because we just see your screen, your email screen.
Oh, I thought I was sharing.
Can
It
you
says I'm
click?
sharing, but share this
Yep.
tab.
Just there you go. Perfect.
Okay.
We're
All right.
on.
We're on good. So I was talking about this image because it represents the second time that I went to Brazil, and I had the opportunity to go twice in the spring 2 years ago. The second time I went was to Sao Paulo, and I met this group of educators, artists, musicians, people working in tech, um, and very diverse community. This is in Sao Paulo, but I also went back to Bahia. So there's a person here. Her name is Dr. Barreto. She teaches at the Federal University in Bahia, and we're going to be working collaboratively with her students on a final idea or project. Those of you who went to London, remember how that was framed, that you kind of got to bring your own lens to your impressions of being there, of being in London, and what your experience was, bringing in ideas of identity, art, food, just your impressions. And so it's an interdisciplinary course, and I really want to encourage that, though it's being taught through film. Um, you don't have to be a filmmaker, you don't have to know the language. It helps if you're taking a language course to improve on your language skills. So I've attached a short little video, and I'll just play a little bit of it before I move on. Um, See if this will work.
Salvador de Bahia is located on the southeastern promontory of the Bay of Todos os Santos in northeastern Brazil. The city is an eminent example of Renaissance urban planning adapted to a colonial site. It is composed of an upper city with a defensive, administrative, and residential character, overlooking the lower city with its port, the center of commercial activities. From the 16th to the 18th centuries, Salvador was also one of the major points of convergence of European, African, and American Indian cultures. One of the most significant examples of this religious pluralism is embodied in the 18th century Roman Catholic Senhor de Bonfim Church. Built in 1745, the church became famous for its power to miraculously heal. The Portuguese settlers long ago brought counter-Reformation Catholicism to Brazil, which in its efforts to hold back the Protestant sweep of Europe, revitalized saint worship and mysticism. At the same time, the slaves brought their deities from Angola, the Congo, Ghana, and Nigeria. The Catholic Church, the official religion of Brazil, does not officially accept candomblé, the African-Brazilian religion of Bahia. But due to the country's enormous size, it became difficult for the clergy to exert its control over New World Catholics. On the ceiling of the Room of Miracles hang the ex-votos offered by faithful parishioners, wax or plastic replicas of body parts, representing those who are cured or need curing. The walls of the small room are covered with photos and testimonials on slips of paper, thanking Señor de Bonfim for his miracles. The photos vividly display the sufferings of the faithful. Pictures of torsos taped by adhesive, car crashes, and burned skin peeled and raw. Some have prayed for assistance in being elected to office or obtaining a promotion at work. Several military hats hang on the walls of the room. The Salvador coastline is one of the longest in Brazil, with some 50 kilometers of beaches distributed between the high city and the low city. The capital's beaches boast an enormous ecological diversity because of this difference, and include calm inlets ideal for swimming, sailing, diving, and underwater fishing, as well as open beach with strong waves, favored by surfers. There are also beaches surrounded by reefs, forming natural pools of stone. After the defeat of the Dutch in the 17th century, the Portuguese built and refurbished many of the forts that line the Bay of All Saints. Due to its elegant form, the Montserrat Fort is considered the most beautiful military construction of the Brazilian colonial period. Construction was begun in 1583 on a strategic position on top of the most projecting side of the peninsula, overlooking the city's port. According to local lore, Salvador has 365 Catholic churches, one for each day of the year. Whether or not this is true, there are thousands of places to worship for the faithful of every denomination. Most of the city's residents worship African divinities and Catholic saints, sometimes both together. The Church of Our Lady of Good Voyage.
So I'll stop it there. There's a lot of information. I'll share this link. And when we get to talk about, I think I'm going to skip right here to the Palmarejo.
The first historic capital of Brazil, Salvador de Bahia, was made the seat of the royal administration by the Governor-General Tomé de Souza, following the orders of King John II of Portugal. The city played a leading economic and political role until 1763, when the government seat was transferred to Rio de Janeiro. The site of the upper city, located in the area of Bahia de Todos los Santos, was discovered in 1502 by Amerigo Vespucci. The city was then built upon the crest line parallel to the Atlantic coast, which made it easy to defend against Spanish and Dutch attacks. The Church of the Third Order of St. Francis features an intricately worked.
So I'll stop there and let me continue. Okay, so Salvador de Bahia, Brazil, June 1st through 14th, is an interdisciplinary course and is open to students across all disciplines. However, credits can be applied to film practice, art and design, global studies, Caribbean, and Latin American studies. So you can take it as a elective. The application deadline is coming up. I'm going to give room for us to talk about what's needed for that. These are some of the facts about Salvador that I like to share, that it was the first capital city in the country of Brazil. It's considered the most African city outside the continent of Africa. And our course will focus on Afro-Brazilian and indigenous populations within Salvador. This is the Andina Beach. You saw some scenes of it, but we'll be along this coast. So you get to spend a lot of time by the water. And this is looking down at the lower city from the higher city. So where the Palmarejo is the higher city. Everything seems very close and easy to navigate. The themes are Afro-Brazilian and indigenous protest, insurrection, dislocation, resistance. This is what I'm bringing to it as a focus because I'm really interested in the idea of displacement or forced removal, but also social justice is the overarching theme. So we'll be looking at culture and how culture responds to it through how people have resisted, but also what it's kind of like where we are right now, where we have to bring our full selves, our full cultural memory, our histories to the situation that we're dealing with in, our current politics. We have to remember who we are.
Always and forever.
Pardon me?
I said always and forever.
Always
Remember
and
who we
forever.
are, where we came from, and be proud of it.
Yeah. So we're going to be visiting one of the Quilombo, and the Quilombo is um, it is an occupation of historical occupation by people who fled and escaped enslavement. And so you have communities that joined indigenous communities and also Afro-Brazilians, Africans who originated from Angola and other parts of Africa who have maintained their cultures and their belief systems. And also they're very interested in, what affects them now is environmental justice, poverty and illiteracy, and of course, health. So if you have interest in health practices, mental health, physical health, children or birth, women's issues, gendered violence, all of this will be compressed in this course. We will examine how these social justice themes are represented in the arts, music, visual art, film, performance, capoeira, culinary, and spiritual practices. Visits to historic archives, museums, day tours. It seems like a lot, but we can do it. And those of you who went to London, you know that we did a lot in those few days that you were there. You were there for about 14 days. We're going to visit another part of Bahia that's called Cachoeira, and we're going to go to the cigar factory. We're going to learn about the history of cigar making in that region and of course its connection to former plantations. And then we're going to do some cultural stuff. We're going to spend an evening at Ballet Folklorico, a performance in the historic Palaireño. And you'll love that part of the city, that ancient part of the city, because you'll hear music, you'll hear samba practices. We're also going to offer a workshop in martial arts there, the local martial arts. Um, and then we're going to go to the historic growers market in Salvador. And this is a capoeira class that I mentioned. I know people from around the world who have gone there to study with the local capoeiristas to learn this beautiful kind of dance flow martial art practice that involves music and movement. And then we're going to do a collaborative community engagement project facilitated by Professor Paula Barreto with her students from Federal University. So we're going to come up with something. It could be a one-day event where we're projecting images or we're, engaging with community in some way. It's going to be community themed. And then you're going to be there. The last day that you're going to be there is for the Festival of St. Anthony. It's also called the Festival of All Saints. And that's when you'll see people converge on the waterfront. There'll be music, performances, and you'll see people worshiping near the water, which is really beautiful. And now we can talk about the application. So these are some of the guidelines, and
Yeah,
the current.
I'm happy to chat about that,
Okay,
Portia.
okay, go ahead.
So I am gonna drop the link. 1 second. So that you can start the application. It's a very simple process. It starts with going to our website. Let's see here. I just dropped the link on here. And it's very simple. It's an online application that requires several things that include a current copy of your passport. If you don't have a passport, no need to like freak out or anything. We would need for you to apply for one ASAP. It is very critical that you do because Brazil requires travelers to apply for a visa. And what is a visa? We're not asking you for a credit card, but a visa is permission that we ask of a particular government to travel to that government, whether it's for tourism, whether it's for education, business, so on and so forth. So we walk you through that process, but it's extremely crucial that you pay extra to expedite your passport application because if you don't, you may not have your passport in time for you to apply for this visa, and then, you know, you're in trouble. So, but if you have any questions about that, please, again, as always, let me know. We require a $100 application fee, and that could be paid on the online portal. You need an academic recommendation, and so this must come from a professor or TA who's had you in class, who can write about your academic abilities, maturity level, things like that. Let them know that it's an online form, basically. So once they agree to write a recommendation for you, then you can plug in their name and email into our system, and our system will send them an email along with a link. It's basically an online form that they fill out, and they're asked a series of questions about you as a student, your maturity level, academic abilities, and things like that. As this is again required for the application process, and it shouldn't take them more than 10 minutes. So let them know, because I know sometimes professors, they have a lot going on. So as simple as you can make it, that's fine. Perhaps, seeing them during their office hours and so forth. And if there's any questions that they have or any concerns, send them over to me. I'm always happy to help.
And some of you
And
may know this, but that application, I remember writing one for someone. It's really straightforward. It's not like they're writing you an application for grad school. So,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. Thank you for saying that.
yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. So everything is due by March 1st. And I can't stress enough again the importance of getting that passport application in like this weekend or today or, just as soon as possible, so that it can get processed. And as far as funding goes, I know that's a big thing as someone who is first generation. So, first in my family to go to college, I came from very humble beginnings. So, my family, we are grateful for government assistance like welfare, food stamps, and things like that help us get on our feet. So, we had moved from Puerto Rico when I was 7. And so, super grateful for that support. And why I'm sharing that is because I was able to pay for university through financial aid and my study abroad. I did a semester in Madrid, Spain, which was like the most amazing experience ever. It was quite transformative. It helped me just gain a lot of confidence in who I am and what I have to offer, and something worthwhile that I was able to add to my resume after I graduated from college, when I'm applying for not only job opportunities, but for graduate school. So it's a great investment. We do work really closely with the Student Financial Services Office. So they offer financing study abroad 101 info sessions. They're held virtually. The next one is not until after the application deadline, but they do have, or we do have a recording of that info session on our website, which I will drop in the chat shortly. But if you go on our website, studyabroad.uwm.edu, it's on the right side. It says financial planning, and you'll find it there. That has the recording and information about upcoming virtual financing study abroad 101 info sessions, information about scholarship opportunities, and things like that. The thing that I do recommend that students do that is absolutely critical is if you are using financial aid and that's what you're planning on using to pay for your study abroad, you have to get in touch with them. We work very closely with Michael Maddowes. He's amazing. He's the study abroad liaison. So if you email them your name, your student ID number, the name of the program and the term and ask them to recalculate your aid, they can do that, before you even start an application. It's important for you to have a financial plan in place, like how you will pay for the program, how you will pay for your flight, meals that are not included, so on and so forth, that you know that right off the bat. Why? Because once we review applications, you're going to be given about a week's time frame to commit to the program or withdraw. When you commit, you're saying, I am financially liable for this program. So it's not like you can sign up now and then like 3 weeks later you get cold feet or you realize, crap, I don't have it together. I can't pay for this. Well, by then it's too late, right? Because what happens is once we get all of our students, we'll send a really nice email to our colleagues in Brazil and say, go ahead and start planning this, wonderful program. So basically, the fee that you pay, the program fee for this program, includes a lot of things, right? Like, the activity support of, Professor Cobb, cultural activities, your shared housing, some meals, and things that are related to the course, the transportation that you need that's related to the course and things like that. So right, so each of you pays an equal share of the total cost of the program. So it's really important for you to have a plan, have that sorted out, and that's why I encourage you to email our colleagues in the financial aid office. So it's FinAid-SA, so FINAID-SA at uwm.edu, and provide them with your information. Let's say, you say your name, student ID number, that you're interested in applying for the BLM, a global comparative study in Brazil, and you would like to know how much aid you qualify for. So make sure that you take care of that. The other piece is that, yes, there are grants and scholarships that are available. And I always tell students, always say to yourself, of course, me, of course, me, of course, I'm going to get this, right? Like put good thoughts out there, put together a competitive scholarship application or grant application and see what happens, right? But at the same time, I don't want you to count on this money to pay for your program, because oftentimes you will know whether or not you got it until after you've had to make a commitment. So it's important for you to, again, have that sorted out beforehand. You do have the opportunity to meet with Michael Madows in the Student Financial Services office. So just make sure that in your email request that you ask for an appointment. And I wouldn't sleep on that. I would do that today so that you can get on his books, just because, again, the application deadline is coming up. And I want you to know that, yes, it's the 21st of February, but you still have time, but you just have to act quickly. If you have any specific questions or concerns or want to meet with me, send me an email and I am happy to go ahead and connect and support you. The other piece that I wanted to share is that on our website, there are some scholarships that are listed. For example, the Donald Shea Scholarship that you can apply. This is a super generous scholarship from the Center for Latin American and Caribbean Studies. If you are a Wisconsin resident and this is your first bachelor's degree, you can apply for the Wisconsin Study Abroad Grant. If you are Pell Grant eligible, there's a national scholarship called the Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship. And that link to those scholarships are on our website under the financial planning section. So just be sure to take a look and see what is available to you. And of course, if you haven't joined the scholarship portal, make sure that you do that ASAP, because they do provide you with specific scholarship opportunities that are available to you. And know that you don't have to focus on study abroad related scholarships. This is not a trip. It's not a, vacation, although you can take some time and, you can stay later if you want or whatever. So that means that you can use scholarship money for it. So that's all I have. Do you have any questions, concerns, feelings? Please make sure that you drop it here in the chat if you want to unmute yourself. The other piece too, I know that we've shared a lot of information with you. Please do not hesitate to contact us. You're not bothering us. We're here to support you every step of the way. I always say that for me and being in the higher ed space for so many years, I've had the privilege of working with students of all abilities, all ages, all the things. So come at me. I'm happy to support you. I'm happy to meet you where you are. If you're like, oh my gosh, everybody, I'm so scared. Like, I want to do this, but I'm scared. Let's talk. I know that feeling. So let me know how
Mhm.
I can support you. Thank you.
You all have any questions?
I do have a few questions. So,
Okay.
just to confirm, um, for the scholarship money that you apply for, you may not hear back from until like after you commit.
Exactly. Because those application deadlines are not attached to our application process. So every scholarship opportunity has their own deadline. So that's why we encourage students to meet with the student financial services office or reach out to them and ask them specifically what aid you qualify per you participating in this program, because they can give you exact figures and you can work with those
Mhm.
Okay.
while still applying for scholarships and utilizing the Writing Center. They're an amazing resource when it comes to helping students with the brainstorming process for scholarships and things like that.
I do have two more questions.
Please ask away.
So, what is, because I know some countries are a bit more strict with medications, but
Yeah.
how is Brazil with the necessary medications?
That's a good question that I'm not an expert in specifically. We work with a company called Cultural Insurance Services International, CISI for short, that they help students look into what medications are considered illegal in whatever country the student is traveling to. So I'm happy to provide you with their information so you can do that.
Yes,
It's
please.
really important. And just shoot me an email. Have you started the application process?
Not yet. I wanted
Okay.
to attend this meeting first.
Yeah, no, here. I'm gonna send you my email. And I just say, ask for, you don't have to tell me what medication you are taking or whatever. But I'm happy to share with you the contact information for CISI.
And as a follow up to that question, how are students with disabilities accommodated?
The specific questions that are needed, I would say if you have specific accommodations, are you talking about like, depending on if okay, for academic disabilities and any sort of support that you would need, that's something that you would share later with the program leader after being accepted into the program. Just like any course, those accessibility matters are taken into consideration, of course. And as far as physical disabilities, I know with this program there are specific, things that are done in terms of like travel and things like that. So I would say email me what you're looking for, what support you need, and we can let you know how that can be accommodated.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Any other questions? Are y'all even more excited about this program? Because I know I am. Every time I hear it, it's like I'm excited to help, but it's kind of torture because I want to go. I'm telling you, I'm one of these years, I'm going to go to a BLM course abroad. I would love it. I'd probably cry every day, but it's okay.
Maybe you
Tears
can
of
go.
joy.
Maybe you can go next year to London, but it'll be
I hope
cold.
so. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Well, thank you all so much for being here.
What
We're
about those who went to the UK? Did you want to share anything that was positive about your venturing out? Any of you who've traveled for the first time, would you like to share anything with those who are interested in this? And hopefully you'll come with us again.
Um, I can share.
Okay.
The
All right.
experience was amazing. You get to meet a lot of new people. I say the best thing about going to the UK was getting to know the culture out there. Especially when we went to Sandburg, we went like under this like a garage and people were skating. We got a lot of good interviews and we got to know a lot of people. They taught us a lot about poor British people, rich British people, how like when you talk to somebody that is wealthy, the way they talk is different. So I thought that would answer. We also went to go see The Lion King, which was amazing. So I say going to the UK, yes, it was scary because it was my first time on a plane and going out of the country, but the experience was great and it's like once in a lifetime thing.
Yay. Thank you for that, Ayana.
You're
Um,
welcome.
and I know that there are, so as you saw, like as I kind of went through my slides quickly, there'll definitely be cultural experiences for us in Brazil that I think you'll be really, um, inspired by. It's just another cultural experience. As you guys do these things, you become global citizens, and I consider you that. You're becoming global citizens. So thank you. Anybody else want to add anything? I see y'all in the background, busy, busy, busy.
I wanted
Uh,
to add too that I know that we have our amazing UK BLM participants, but just Ariel and those of you who are watching the replay, just know that the same type of like connections and intention and care that was put into creating the UK BLM program, the same goes in Brazil. We have an amazing partner who works out of Brazil and has worked very closely with Professor Cobb to basically make her syllabus come to life with the various activities that are infused in the program to bring what you're learning and making connections too with locals and make the most out of your experience. So just know that that is also something that you can expect from the experience. And I think also the importance and the timeliness of this course. Um, Personally, I just can't share just how crucial it is for us to continue to learn about, different cultures, different identities, and celebrate them. And also, this is a type of experience that you can't just like get on a plane. Like, yeah, you can go to Brazil, you can go to Bahia, but the type of experience that Professor Cobb has planned with Campus B, they're the providers. Like, it's just something unique. It's something beautiful, and the type of experience that is transformative, as you keep hearing from our students who went on this program, but in London. Um, the type of experience that you can't get here at UWM, no matter how amazing the course is, no matter how amazing the professors are, like there's something to traveling to other countries, to connecting with people who you think that are different from us because they're in a different part of the world. But the more that you talk, the more that you connect, the more you see how we are connected as humans. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, we all, of course, recognize our culture, our identity and things like that, but we all have the same basic needs of being loved, being accepted, things like that. So I'm excited that y'all are here and that you are considering this program. Please don't hesitate to let me know how I can support you, and also Professor Cobb, to get you even more excited about this class.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been awesome spending time sharing space with you all. I'm so excited for you, but also jelly, and that's okay. I'm happy to help you make this experience a reality. Whether like Ayana, I'm so freaking proud of you. Like, first time on a plane, excuse me, and now you're like a total like jet setter, traveling the world. And I see
Yeah.
you in Brazil this summer. You know, like
Yeah, yeah.
all of y'all. I'm just so proud. And like I said, I've been in UWM for so many years. I've worked with so many students of different background, different abilities, all the things, just amazing, resilient, and not letting anything or anyone keep them from pursuing their dreams. So let me know how I can continue to support you.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I don't know if any of you are taking another summer course. This is a 3-credit course, but if you take another summer course at 3 credits, that would make the equivalent of 6 credits, and that would make it viable financially through your financial aid packet as well. So, maybe you could plan around that. Um, that would be wonderful. I'd love to have you experience this opportunity. And there's a vibrant youth culture in Brazil. So I mentioned samba, but you're going to be seeing all forms of hip hop, performances, dance, and things to do. Just like my students who went to the UK. We always find ways for you to discover the places that you want to be, spoken word, all of that. So I'm really looking forward to the ways that you will find your lens into the Bahian culture. You'll fall in love with Brazil. So as I mentioned, I went twice. The first time I went with a kind of a touring group of older artists, and then the second time I went on my own, before going to the conference in Sao Paulo, which is along the way, and I couldn't stop, thinking about going back, and so I always feel comfortable. People I've directed to go there who are not college students who've gone. There's one young woman I know who's, finished college. She says she wants to live there. I've met people on the way there who are Americans who there's one young man I met, 2 years ago on the plane going. It was his first time. He's on his way back. So I think it's a place you'd like to return to. And certainly there are other places in Brazil to discover, but I feel like this is the first place you should come to so that you can kind of navigate, you can kind of understand how to get from one place to another. And some people travel by bus from Bahia to Rio if they want to go to Rio. I can't tell you the mileage or anything like that, but those are things you can plan for yourselves. And, if you're interested enough, but I guarantee you, if you come, you'll want to go back. Um, yeah, so I think that's all I have to say today. I'm going to be at a table in the PSOA Theater Lounge or lobby area next week, Wednesday, because they're doing kind of a cultural meet and greet for the Peck School of the Arts, and I'll have a table. But you can reach out to me on email, and I'm sure we're going to do another Zoom once we get closer to knowing who's going. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much for being here. Drop
Thank you
us a
so
line.
much. Thanks for supporting and tell others. Okay. Thank you. Ciao.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.